Hello, welcome back, show boys. We're here, man. This is the first time in
A long
maybe
time
since like November ish
since
that we
COVID.
have not had like a hyper specific topic for you guys. We're thrown back to an oldie but a goodie classic What's Watching episode. Sadly, it's just Nick and I. Chad at the beach. Dad is slaving away editing a Pokeboys episode right now.
Dang.
And Nick and I are here to discuss some of the things we've been watching that we have not covered on the podcast for like probably the last 6 months. um, but before we get into it, first off, uh, between the Andor season that we did and now, you've been enjoying our Pale Beyond series that we've released out to the public. That was a Patreon series. We did Patreon exclusive episodes. And hopefully you were enjoying that. First off, you should play Pale Beyond. It's a great game. Second off, that's kind of the style episodes, style of content that you can expect as a Patreon member, as a Patreon exclusive content once a month, something like that. Right now, we're currently going through Jedi Survivor. I believe we have two more episodes for that series over on Patreon to go before we wrap that up. But yeah, if you're interested in getting some exclusive bonus episodes like that, over to patreon.com/showboyspodcast and sign up. Um, Shout out to our top tier patrons, Josie, Eastfage, Timby, honorary members. Thank you for your support. All of our other Patreon members. You guys are awesome. We appreciate it. But yeah, dude, Nick, what's up?
Not much. Tired. Um, tired. Working. Not working. All the above. Not working. My not working is as tiring as my working these days. So
Because you're over there slinging options.
trying. It's a learning
Hey,
process.
that's all we can do, right?
Hard skill.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. But there is no try. Do or do not.
Well, then do it already.
I know. Who said that?
It was obviously Luke Skywalker.
Wow. What a nerd. He
Yeah,
was
I
the one
know.
that got told. He didn't
Yeah,
do the
yeah, yeah.
telling.
It was the Yoder.
Yeah, the
The
odor toter.
Yoder. Which man, that'd be great if we just had like an Amish remake of Star Wars.
I don't even know what that means.
Yoda is just a little Amish boy with
Luke,
his bowl cut and straw hat.
dear.
But yeah, so tonight gonna go through some of the things we've been watching. I've actually been watching. I have a decent uh list going over here. I've been keeping track of the since the start of the year for our end of year end of year awards as
Hmm.
usual. But have you been watching some stuff?
Obviously we watched Andor and covered that quite extensively. And then I think after Andor, I don't know, I've been like adrift in watching stuff. I mean, during Andor, I was also like I was also wrapping up my rewatch of The Wire.
Oh yeah,
So like that
okay.
was my big accomplishment. I've been kind of picking at that last, Q4 last year, and then like I guess half of this year, just like chipping away at it.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, I just realized that it's June and I was like, we haven't done one of these since like November, 6 months ago.
Something like that.
It's
You
been
sure?
it's been like
Yeah, because Severance like rolled right into
yeah, well, we had
Andor.
Arcane and then we had
Yeah,
Severance and then we had yeah,
yeah.
it
I watched
was
Arcane, Severance, and Andor. That's what I watched. No, but yeah,
short episode.
peppered in there, The Wire, and man, that show's so good. It in terms of like HBO shows, it's the most like if you're into that type of content, it's about police and criminals in Baltimore
Mhm.
in circa the 2000s. hence The Wire when they actually like wiretaps were a new thing, right? So that's kind of like the premise of the show. But it's just so well written and the acting's great. You'll see a lot of familiar faces when it comes to like, hey, I know that guy. He's in a ton of stuff. Like half the cast is that.
Oh, wow.
Littlefinger's in it. He's like a sleazy politician. Makes sense. He plays that role for all of
Yeah,
HBO. So like, we need a
yeah.
sleazy politician. Where's Littlefinger at? Um, but I don't know. Like end to end, I mean, it's probably one of my favorite shows. Like definitely like top 5, no
Really?
problem. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Wire's so good.
How many seasons?
5,
Oh, okay. That's
perfect.
nice. That's nice.
Perfect, yep.
Right in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, and it just follows a format and it sticks to it. It doesn't get crazy with its storyline. Like, everything just progresses appropriately. It's got some of the best I mean, it's got the no way. It's Weebay, but, like, it's a GIF. Like, the GIF's been around for 30 years at this point. Since probably like it's probably one of the first GIFs that existed, I would say. It's the like, oh, that guy doing that. Um, yeah, it's just a good time.
Nice.
Great
Isn't there
one-liners.
a young Michael B. Jordan in there?
Yeah, yeah, really
Like
young.
a 10-year-old Michael B.
Yeah,
Jordan or
like
something?
12-year-old Michael B. Jordan, which is crazy. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, he has a cool little story. Every character is just well written. Like they're all memorable too. Like you don't really have a lot of throwaway characters. Like he's in uh 3 seasons, I think, or so,
Oh,
but,
wow.
he like, there's so many characters. They're all kind of, like, side characters, and, like, even the main characters, like, drift in and out sometimes. It's just a pleasant watch too with, like, great context to the time. Um, yeah, I love it. It's just a good show. Like, it's probably one of the most consistent shows. Like, if you're talking about consistency, it's the most consistent thing you could watch in terms of good from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, I've not watched it. Um, would you say and you said, like you said consistent, but then you also said, that it, like, kind of does the same thing, like, we're not talking like an Expanse style show where each season has like a different almost genre. Does like The Wire just have that like almost episodic formula? Something like maybe Clone Wars where like
Or
the
like Gotham.
structure of each episode is gonna kind of play out this certain way and
Yeah, it's wild because they all have these great opens right before the opening song, right? And
mhm,
then every season is a new layer to the complexity of the city of Baltimore and this whole thing between cops and crooks kind of thing. So like season 1, you're kind of like down in the ghetto in like the projects like following like just drug dealers and like
mhm,
even like the kids like young Michael B. Jordan, who are just slinging drugs for like the drug lords, right? And you
mhm,
follow them, and then you're following the cops chasing them, and you're all just it's all very kind of localized.
mm,
But in season two has the biggest, most dramatic shift because then you move to like the dockyards where you have like the Greek based union and like local yokels um going about their stuff. So the drug dealing takes a backseat. The cops change their shift in terms of what they're investigating. It all always ties back. And like the big thing for the cops is like there's a couple cops that like to do real police work and not the like politics of like police work and like stats and all that stuff. And that's like a big dynamic they explore in the show. But they're always kind of like tracing and figuring out like basically where the money's going, because it starts off as like one famous lines from one of the characters is like, you follow the drugs, you're going to catch drug dealers, but if you follow the money, you have no idea what you're going to find.
Yeah.
And that's how the show just grows to the point where by season 5 you're talking about like elections for the mayor and
Oh,
like
geez.
senators and stuff like that. So each season has like a theme that like adds to it. um but like the characters like moved, like the cops, they all move around departments because like you think about like PLM, like you're on a project last year and it gets like
Yeah.
blasted, you move on to like a different department and project, like it's kind of like that. um so
Hmm,
yeah,
that makes
it's
sense.
but I mean every show, I mean every episode has its structure and they stick to it, but like they slowly like grow it and like build upon it, and it's just so well written.
Nice. I know it's a very, like, highly regarded show.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so and this is, like, a rewatch, right?
yeah, very. And yeah, and like rap songs quote this show like nonstop all the time. Like it's up there.
Yeah. Well, how
There's even
many times have you watched this?
this is probably this is definitely my most consistent like full like from the first time I watched it, because I obviously didn't watch it when it came out originally. So like I watched it one go back in college. Um and then like I've revisited over the years, but this was definitely the second time I've like within a specific time frame have rewatched it like within 6 months, right?
Mm,
Without like gapping through it over the years. So
right.
um so good. So good.
Nice. There's one thing on my list that has Michael B. Jordan in it. Can you guess what it is? If you guess what this is, I will be so surprised because it's super random.
I don't know. I don't really follow Michael B. Jordan as much as I think a lot of people do.
I watched Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan on Amazon Prime.
What year did that come out?
Oh shoot, I don't know. Let me look it
Is
up.
it an
But I
older one or a newer one?
oh no no no. It's within maybe the 2010s.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not. I know Chad would be proud because I'm
So he
pretty
would have
sure
been
that.
he would have been pretty young then too, because that sounds like shortly after The
Oh
Wire.
wow, okay, I was very wrong. This was in 2021.
Oh, so after his
Yeah.
Wakanda.
Wow. I feel like this movie is a lot older than it is. But then also, I guess it is 2025, so it's 4 years old.
Yeah,
Um.
true.
But yeah, it was mediocre, but it had Michael B. Jordan in it, and I
Okay,
watched it, so I had to bring it up.
that's fair.
Um, I'm looking at my list here, and I have watched 22 things. Okay,
Holy crap, dude.
but one, two. Hold on, I'm gonna do some counting. Counting. 14 of them were movies. So,
Dang.
I've been actually the only shows Severance, obviously, House of David, obviously, did seasons for Showboys for those. Andor season 1 and 2. Um, I watched. I guess that is not really a show. That's a documentary. Um, the only other like show that wasn't a docu series was For All Mankind, and we haven't talked about this yet.
Oh wow, yeah.
Um, and by golly, that took me like probably a full year. I feel like to actually
Yeah,
watch that.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know how I
Did
feel
you
about
finish
it.
it?
Yeah, I'm
You're
all
caught
caught
up.
up. Yeah, and there's one final season coming, right?
Yeah.
Season 5.
Well, I don't know if it's final, but yeah, there's another season coming
Okay.
at the very least.
Yeah, we have not had a chance to actually talk about this yet
I
outside
know.
of just Discord chat. How did you feel about For All Mankind?
You know, it's a great premise. It has like an execution and probably just overall like writing problem where like it is definitely it has even though it's not made for TV, it has that made for TV vibe at some points.
Mhm.
But if you it is similar to Man in the High Castle, um, in terms of the flaws it has, but the strengths it has. So like if you're a sucker for like alternative history and
Yeah.
like especially if you like sci-fi and you know really the premise like an alternate history where in the 60s the space race never ended and we to this day, right? I think the show what presently is like 2040, 2030, or it's beyond us at this point, present day.
Mm.
And the space race never ended and essentially we're
Oh,
like battling it out with
colonized Mars.
yeah, we've colonized the moon and Mars, and we're still like duking it out with Russia for like who's the sweetest in China.
Yeah.
Very similar today. So like it's if you like that and that's the gimmick that sells you, it's worth a watch. But you do have to get through like the drama for drama purposes. You
Yeah.
definitely have to like navigate that for sure.
Yeah, the made for TV comment is, like, so spot on. It's like it's an Apple exclusive, and in the pantheon of amazing Apple originals, I would say this one's middle of the road for
Yeah,
me. Um, but it does have a lot of things that obviously kept me watching over the span of I'm not even joking, it probably did take me, like, a
yeah,
year watching this. Um But there is, like, a level of cheese to it. That
heavy cheese.
there there were so many times where I would just, like, messaging, like, "Are we seriously, like, having a, like, Ocean's 11 heist of an asteroid?" Like like,
Yeah,
that's where we're at right now? Like, all of the other stuff of the show is, like, so cool and,
season one and
like
two are way more grounded.
oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it's just hard for them to keep a story like that on the rails without just being like, "You know what? Let's just do something crazy to keep
They
things
have, like
popping."
yeah, so season 5, the cheese in season 4 was, like, just over the top. There's, like, "We're gonna have okay, we're gonna have smugglers smuggling these black market items, which really are just normal everyday things from Earth to
Yeah.
Mars, somehow undetected." I'm like, "Okay, I mean, that's kind of lame because I don't think that would actually be possible, but whatever." And then they're like, and then we're gonna have also in there human trafficking of this Korean dude's wife. We're
Mhm.
just gonna smuggle her into some, like, luggage onto a spaceship
Yeah, that was
through
bizarre.
space to Mars and somehow, like, not die, and then, like, be able to come out of this cargo hold and then
Just
just be able to live in this Mars colony and
yeah.
nobody ask a single question.
Yeah. Where'd you
I'm
come
like,
from?
"Okay, that's, wow, how did we get there?" But then the whole, like yeah, the asteroid heist, if the human smuggling wasn't enough to lose me, the asteroid heist, I was like, "Come on, guys, like, we can make some
Yeah.
sort of drama that is not as ridiculous as, like, trying to steal an asteroid that's, like, 3 miles wide as it's flying by Mars." I'm like, "Okay, guys, come on." But cheese, we remove the cheese. The alternate history part is so cool, like,
Yeah.
uh, just the whole thought of the United States, caveat, asterisk, air quotes, if we actually did make it to the moon in real life. Who knows? Who knows? Did we actually make it to the moon? I don't know. Do you know? We don't know.
I
They
mean, how
say
did
we did. They
I
say
mean,
we did.
wasn't the end of season 3 where no like loosely no spoilers, but like when one space station's like attacked by another group, right? And then we have the very intense like death of a main-ish character, right? Was that
Yeah,
into
yeah.
season 3?
It was like 2 or 3. It was in the
Yeah.
middle there.
Yeah. I mean, how'd you feel about that whole sequence? I find that
That part was fine.
I liked that. Like I thought that
Yeah.
was cool and like
Yeah, that was,
Um,
like, pushing the boundary, but in an acceptable place.
right,
But then
and
where
it
we
killed off,
get
like, a major character, and I
yeah,
thought I
yeah,
was like I liked how we're advancing that, but at the same time, we have some characters that are literally, like, about to, like, die just from old age because they have to advance the every season goes forward, like, 10, 20 years.
yeah, dude, they're so
Um,
old now, which I will say they do a good job of making these people look old, believably old.
yeah. So I think, like, if they could have redone it, they should have focused more on, like, the progression of time and like generations because I think that's been handled okay-ish. It could like that was like a promising thing that just never really panned out because like
Yeah.
Danny, like that could have gone places. It went somewhere, but like not the greatest.
Yeah, yeah.
Different things like that. It's like for every like strong redeemable moment the show has, like there's just like two like forgettable cheese moments that like get slipped by in the same episode.
Yeah. But, like,
Um,
man, the whole idea, though, that, like, Russia beats the United States to the
yeah.
moon, that's so cool, and then because of that, like, we never stop pursuing, like, space exploration, and eventually leads us to, like, where we are today with Elon Musk wanting to go to Mars, but they actually, like, go to Mars.
With an
But
Elon Musk type in
yeah,
charge.
dude, okay, okay. I sent you a video. Was it today? Maybe today? Maybe it's yesterday.
Mm,
I don't know. Yeah, it was yesterday. The Sean Ryan Show, if anyone has heard of this on YouTube. But it's a very, very large podcast, so I'd be surprised if you're into listening to podcasts on YouTube if you've had not heard of the Sean Ryan Show. He has this guy on. What's his name? Let me look. Steve Quast, who is some like literal rocket scientist who's commander in the army, and he's like an engineer, very smart guy. Literally talking like I'm not going to get into all the stuff with the podcast because it's like a lot, and um, but the main idea was like right now we have the technology to basically have unlimited free energy, like accessible anywhere at all times, uh, using like space stuff. Doing a real bad job of summarizing this, but think of like Elon's what are they called? Starlinks, whatever this
yeah,
the
Starlink.
broadband
Mhm.
satellites. Basically, we could do that with energy and just like beam down energy to sustain us that would be super affordable for everyone. Um but in the podcast, he's like, China is on the other side of the moon mining helium-3, which is a very valuable resource that we have in super, super limited quantities on Earth. And because of that, it's very, very expensive. Apparently, like when it goes through the atmosphere, um, the vast majority of it is burnt up and only a little bit actually makes it to Earth. But the moon and asteroids are like just
Is
full
helium
of this
3 a
stuff.
physical like solid or is it a gas or
Couldn't
a
tell you. I
okay.
couldn't tell you. But they talk about helium-3 in For All Mankind. That's what
Yeah.
they're mining.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this not alternate history now?
I mean,
Like,
is he sure he just didn't watch the show and got his dates
maybe,
confused?
yeah, maybe he like,
I mean, that's a big blind spot for the planet. Like that's apparently that would be bigger news than like aliens actually existing at this point because no one cares. Like everyone's just on board there. Like, but if
yeah,
someone's like, "Oh yeah, Chinese legit mining the other side of the moon," like that's a big hole in
yeah.
the.
Well, I mean, Sean Ryan's like, how do we know that? He's like, because they're coming down, they're bringing it back, and I'm like, okay, but like, why is that not news? That another country is ascending and descending from the moon. Like,
Consistently
why does
enough.
nobody know about that?
Yeah. Right.
But if it's true, that's just wild because that's essentially the plot of For All Mankind.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not even joking. The Russians and the United States are fighting
In China.
for
Or no,
my
Korea. Is it
it's
Korea?
Korea, it's
Yeah.
Korea. But they're literally like in season 1 and 2, it's the United States and Russia mainly fighting over mining access on the moon.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is happening? Um, but yeah, but watching this show has made me wonder, like, why haven't we gone back since the 60s, 70s? Like, how have we not done that?
Yeah. I mean, like some macro answers there that are either like obviously the fun one is we never went and we can't. And so like
Yeah.
why, I mean, we're still trying to crack that one. Or we did and like it was utterly boring and there's
Like, what's the
literally
point?
nothing there and there's no
Yeah.
point. Um third, we are that dumb of a species to not like prioritize that sort of thing. And we're just
Mhm.
like we're just gonna kill ourselves down here slowly. I don't know. Like those are like the three routes I see.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. But anyways,
Or we went there and we're like, we are not ready to unpack this Pandora's box of like funness.
well, I mean, you can look up things that Buzz Aldrin has said about
Right.
things. So, I don't know. Maybe you're onto something there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just thought that I was just listening to that and I was like, bro, literally this is for all mankind.
Yeah, that's
This is
crazy.
crazy. But yeah, I mean, for on me on like a scale of don't watch to watch, I'd say this probably fits somewhere in the middle or like slightly towards watch this. But I
It's
think
a
it's like
tailored recommendation.
yeah. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. It's very situational, and if you're into alternate history or space stuff, I mean, I think The Expanse is much better if you're into like
Oh yeah.
space
But see,
adventures
but
that
that's
aren't
like
like
that's
Star
part of the
Wars.
hook though for me is that it was shipped right by whoever on the internet as like a precursor to like expand like you can pretend it's like
Yeah.
a prelude to the expanse. I'm like, okay, I gotta see this, I want to see it
That's how the
line up
Martians
well.
came about, right?
Yeah.
It all came from that colony.
So far I can't really pick out any reason why it can't be considered that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a quick brief how do we get to this point?
true.
How did Jared Harris get to space? Like that's
That's true. How did he become like a belter terrorist, basically?
yeah, a saw.
Yeah.
He's the white saw.
Yes, exactly. I love it. But yeah, if you had to pick between the two of those, if you have not seen
Oh
either,
yeah.
For All Mankind or The Expanse, 100% watch The Expanse.
Watch The
But
Expanse and then maybe. Yeah,
then
definitely do that. Watch The Expanse.
and then
Then
chip
if you're
away
itching, yeah.
at For All Mankind over a period of time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Other than that, show wise, the other things were docu series in my, of course, military uh, lane. Pearl Harbor Minute by Minute, which I think you had seen.
Uh Minute by minute.
Actually, I think I heard of that one from a Shane Gillis clipping.
Yeah.
He was talking about it. It was pretty good. Netflix, Vietnam, the war that changed America on Apple was pretty good. And with that, Netflix, our favorite Turning Point series,
Hmm.
The Bomb in the Cold War. They also have one on 9/11, which I still haven't watched, but I bet you that's super interesting.
Be careful.
They just put out a Vietnam War one, Turning Point. So I'll
I like the
probably
Turning
watch that
Point
at some point.
series. I've only
Yeah.
seen I've only seen the Cold War one, but definitely plan on revisiting. Because I just like how they tether it at least to the present. So
Mhm.
I think they're trying to attempt to be like, this is why you should care.
Yeah. Yeah,
Versus
but
just like black and white footage of war. You know.
yeah. The Apple Vietnam uh series was interesting. I've not really learned very much about that war, and some of the stuff in there was absolutely nuts, dude. I feel bad for everyone involved in that one. It was just a lose-lose across the board.
Yeah.
And then the other docu-series on Netflix was Meltdown 3 Mile Island, which was, I think, happened before Chernobyl, in Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
There was a a nuclear meltdown that almost like became America Chernobyl.
Oh yeah.
And then Chernobyl happened. And then everyone became of nuclear power or became afraid of nuclear power plants.
Now no
Um,
more. We're about to start building them just to power AI data centers.
Great. So when the AI master race overtakes us, they can just detonate all of the nuclear factories and wipe us out for good.
Well, no, they just have like nearly unlimited energy to do their thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah. But that was like a decent short watch. Uh, Man, the absolutely like gross mishandling of that situation was wild.
Like Chernobyl.
Yeah, yeah. They're
Oh
just
no.
like, nothing's wrong, guys. We're good. You don't have to worry. Meanwhile, it like comes within like millimeters of just massive meltdown. It's crazy. If you're bored and into Chernobyl like stories, that's a decent watch.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something we've gotten. Have we gotten better at that? Or we? I don't know. That's a hard
Have we
thing
gone
to.
too far on the other side where like we overreact to everything like way
Yeah,
too
because
hard?
I was just gonna say, like first sign anyone gets any whiff of anything going wrong, we were like, that's not good, and like internet, like no,
Yeah.
like dude, like someone
Yeah.
today would just tweet from like the nuclear plant, be like, guys, it's not good.
I work here and the alarm is very loud and very alarming. Um,
Actually, it would get live streamed, like the reactor just melting.
that's true.
It's just like running. It would actually look like Chernobyl, like the show. Just because they had that. Didn't they have that sequence where they were like running out of the through the halls? Yeah, because the dude's wife was in there at
Oh
the
yeah,
very
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Or no, am I thinking of Godzilla? What am I? I'm
Oh
mixing.
no, you're thinking of Godzilla.
Okay, yeah, that was Godzilla.
I mean, also
Very similar.
kind of a nuclear
Yeah,
meltdown.
other nuclear problem.
Yeah. Um, Man, which by the way, I've my wife in the midst of her pregnancy here, which by the way, my wife's pregnant, having our fourth child, which is pretty nice.
Congratulations.
Just found out a couple days ago that it's a boy, the first boy.
Zoe,
The bloodline has been secured. The
you
court.
feel like a lord or a king, like oh.
Yes, yes. My first true heir. No, but no, super excited. But anyways, she's like in that phase of her pregnancy, and these are her words, not mine. So don't get mad at me. But
Fuck
she's
this
like,
shit. No.
no, she's like super clingy, always like wants to hang out and be around,
Oh,
which is totally fine. But in this, she's like, I'll watch Andor with you. And I was like, say less. So I'm in the midst of my third watch of season 1 of Andor right
how's
now.
it going
We just
for
watched
her?
episode 4.
Okay.
We've watched 4 episodes and she's still in it. So
Is she
that's
enjoying
good.
it? Is she on her phone?
She's watching,
Wow.
not really messing around on her phone. So, um, but yeah, so like I forget what, I think, I think last night I was doing that one thing where I was like kind of sleepy and we are both sitting on the couch and like she was getting ready to go to bed and I was like getting ready to stay on the couch but basically fall asleep because I was so tired. So I was just like flipping through Prime and looking to see like what to add to my list or whatever. And we were going through and like movies would pop up and she'd be like, "Oh, I want to see that. I remember watching that. That was funny, blah blah blah." And then like 2014 Godzilla popped up and I was like, "Eh, this is a good one.
Eh.
I mean, you should watch this." And she's like, "No."
Oh,
It's like, "Dang it." But yeah, that's such a great movie.
and that's been currently my problem is I don't know, something about maybe it's because I rewatched The Wire. I don't know, something's really got me on a rewatch kick because like just older movies, older shows are just like really, really appealing to me. Like I started rewatching Inception the other day for like no good
Nice.
reason. I didn't get very far.
Oh, good reason. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Um, I think I forgot a lot about that movie. I need to finish it.
Hmm.
Or I'm just watching in a completely different light because I probably seen it like handful of times
Mhm.
when the year it came out. So 15 years ago, probably.
Yeah, let's see when it came out because that's
I think it's 2011. I had to stab at the wind.
2010. You're close.
Whew. Yeah, that's old. Old young Leo. Um, and currently, I started rewatching Community,
Great show.
right? Um, because I think I need something like light to watch, and I think I'd been seeing I don't know something triggered it to watch Community. So I'm rewatching Community. I'm like halfway through season one. I've also started rewatching Rick and Morty from the beginning too. So right now I'm like dueling Rick and Morty in the Community.
You're just like in Dan Harmon's world.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just living in Dan Harmon's brain
What
right
a scary world that must be.
I know. But you know what's crazy? I keep up with Rick and Morty, like when the new seasons come out, and I think it hit a low point, and like I remember thinking the most recent season was like a significant step up from prior seasons.
Mhm.
But man, like so far the first season, I'm like, man, I forgot how good like the first at least so far the first season was.
Yeah,
So good. I completely forgot and I'm waiting for like the moment I remember it clicking for me. Like I'm like this show is badass.
man. I feel like the one that happened for me was like the Cronenberg's one
Yeah.
where they
They have to
they
bury
reap.
themselves.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one, man. That's when you realize
And Morty's just like absolutely mortified. And Rick's just like, whatever. Gotta do what you gotta do.
and I feel like that was the episode that really sparked the online debate of is the show actually genius and thought out or just chaos and like dumb?
Yeah.
Because you have your people who are like think it's a complete mind bending like experience and it's way more complicated than it appears to be versus the people who just think like it's just like literally mindless nonsense that happens to get tied together when it's convenient for the writers.
Yeah.
um so
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I think Dan Harmon's just like a nihilist, you know?
yeah,
He's just like, whatever, nothing matters.
yeah, whatever, nothing matters.
Yeah, he's just basically Rick.
Yeah, I am Rick.
Yes. But yeah, dude, that's hilarious. I got obviously rewatched Andor season 1 for the pod.
Crazy.
And then Rogue One.
Same.
And then after that, rewatched Solo.
Ooh.
And did you end up doing that?
I didn't finish it. I'm right at where we're about to start the Kessel Run.
Mm-mm. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Oh, it's
I
so
don't
good.
like.
I've said that for years. Since
Yeah, and
2018.
like when it came out and I watched it, I was like, "Well, it's a pretty good movie. I don't understand why people are not liking this."
Yeah. They're just hating. They're just exhausted. They're just toddlers on the internet. The Star Wars fandom was just a bunch of like over
A bunch of Jordans.
a bunch of overstimulated toddlers. Like, you know how your children get when they're overstimulated, tired, and probably hungry. Like, I just feel like that's how Star Wars fans get when they get too much of what they want, and
Mm,
that's Star
yeah.
Wars. You give them too much, and they just like melt down.
Their tummy hurts and they cry.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. They start acting funny.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. That was a sweet movie. Like it was fun.
It's probably top 5 for me.
It's got
Movies.
Maul in it. I
Yeah,
mean, come
Maul's in it.
on.
Spoiler.
I mean, dude, it's an
It's,
old
it's,
movie. Come
it's
on.
got it's got um it's got Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. Like she's
Yeah.
up in there.
Can
Got a
I?
great Han Solo recast as a young Han Solo.
Yeah. Can I just throw a hot take out there?
Sure.
Not a fan of Childish Gambino
You don't like
as
you don't like him
Landon.
as Lando?
Hmm. I wasn't.
Oh,
I mean, it just felt like I don't know, like forced. Like he was. This is a very weird way of explaining this, but he like it can't like the performance came off like tense, like he was had to like he was overdoing it almost. Does
maybe
that
he
does that make any sense?
maybe he was just more laid back when or he was more serious when he was younger. Like he had this like edge against the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
He lost that with time.
Yeah, I guess. But still fun. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah.
Even with that being my one complaint about it.
How dare you complain about Childish Gambino?
I know, right?
Donald Glover, how dare you?
My other rewatch, the only other thing I rewatched this year so far. Dude, if you guess this, I'll give you like $10. There's no way you're gonna guess this. This is so random. Even more random than Tom Clancy movie. Did you ever watch when you were a child the movie Little Giants about a pee-wee football team coached by the dad from Honey I Shrunk the Kids, playing against his brother and former high school and collegiate football star, Al Bundy from Married with Children. It's
You
like a
know, I think I had seen this,
it is a
like,
classic kids sports movie. It's super funny.
but
Um,
maybe not. That's tough. That's a
what
tough one.
are you looking at it? What year did
I'm
it
looking
come
at
out?
I'm looking at pictures of like it, 1994.
94, dude. I was 7 years old.
Bro, dude, that came out like 31 years ago.
I know, dude. Getting old. But yeah, my one of the times my in-laws were down here visiting, we watched it. My father-in-law put it on, and we watched it with the girls. And I was just like sitting on the couch laughing the whole time, dude. It's such a funny movie. There's something about those '90s kids movies are just man, they're so good. We were talking about Sandlot last night.
Yeah.
I'm just like, bro, that movie. I'll literally watch it like anytime someone mentions it. I'm like, put it on. Let's go. I'm always in the mood for Sandlot.
I mean, you talk about like how, they don't make things like they used to. They literally do not make movies like that anymore. You know what I mean? Like they don't
Yeah,
exist, period.
yeah, dude.
Like
Uh,
if you do have children acting, they're in isolated groups of like no more than 3. Um like even the Stranger Things has gotten to that point where like, there's no more than 3 or 4 of them on a screen at one time. And they're all older
it's
now.
actually
So and they're
true.
like,
Yeah,
whew,
they're all like 30 now by the
yeah,
time
they're all
the way that like the filming of that has worked out.
yeah.
Um, yeah, dude. Dang. Oh, Sandlot came up. I know you're not a big sports guy, but have you heard of the Savannah Bananas? It's like basically like the Harlem Globetrotters of
Oh, okay.
baseball.
Yeah.
Um, they were like a summer league team. Uh, and yeah, they basically play the same opponent all the time. They travel around the country and just like their games are like a show. It's baseball with some modified rules. They do like just YouTube Savannah Bananas. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like they're super fun to watch. And during their games, usually they'll bring out like either former baseball players or other celebrities and stuff to come like take an at bat or something for the team. One of their recent games, the catcher Ham Porter from Sandlot was like their celebrity, so he came out and like called his shot like he does in the movie, and it was hilarious. Um, but yeah, dude, I want to go to Savannah Bananas game really bad, but dude, like nosebleed tickets are like 70 something bucks a person. They
That's crazy.
came they came into town. Oh, I don't know, in the fall, I think. Uh, like 10 minutes down the road, and I was
They
like,
play
I want
both
to.
teams, like they're a two-team unit, like 2
Yeah,
baseball
it's the
teams they field?
Savannah Bananas, and then their opponents are I forget the city name, but they're the firefighters or whatever. Like, dude, just look it up. It's really funny, and like they're actually really good baseball players. They do like these crazy trick catches. The rules of the game are like fast paced and like wild. Like if a player hits a foul ball that goes into the stands and a fan catches it like in the air, the batter's out.
Oh,
It's like weird rules like
yeah.
that. But yeah, anyways, that's where Sandlot like came up in the house because we saw Ham Porter was in there, and I was like, ah, the great Hambino, you know.
Yeah, very
But
cool.
yeah, you been watching anything else?
Well, the big finale of something new is The Handmaid's Tale that finally wrapped with its 6th season this year.
It's
Crazy
Dunzo.
'cause that journey started in 2018, I think,
Oh wow.
perhaps. Um, so like, maybe I was just a little bit more prepared for post 2020 because I'd already started watching The Handmaid's Tale. I'm like, you know what? Might as well just like let it all start rolling downhill from here. Dystopian, sad future.
Just bring it on.
Let's bring it on. I'm ready. But yeah, so yeah, The Handmaid's Tale is wrapped. Last season, it's tough because for 6 seasons and what 8 years, 7 8 years, like there's some gaps in there. And they did a couple seasons. They did like split where it's like 6 and 6 episodes.
Hmm.
So like that didn't help in the whole what's going on. And I think the middle part like wasn't as strong, but it definitely ended really well.
Nice.
They kind of had their penultimate episode where that was effectively like the finale
Oh,
of
dude, I
like
hate it when that happens.
when it was the mainline story like finale, right? It was
Hmm.
the end of the action basically, like that was the big action setup and all that stuff. And then the last episode's really like they just stacked like 8 full circle moments to like just bow up a lot of like loose ends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And half of them were really great. Like there was like 3 moments that were like really like if you remember the show and are invested in the characters, you're like, dang, like that's deep. Um and it ends pretty well. But
Nice.
like you said, like you hate that. Like
Mm.
I left a lot of people probably feeling that where they're like, "Oh, this is it. That's it." Like, blah, blah, blah. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like I mean, I saw it coming out because no spoilers, but it's like there's this main thing that's like they're after the whole time, like the
Mhm.
main characters, and like halfway through this season, I'm like, that thing isn't gonna happen. Like that's not happening, because to me, like if you try to attempt something like that, right, you're gonna
Mhm.
cheese it and you're gonna mess
Yeah.
it up, right? So just stick with like what you have and just wrap it the best you can. Don't force in like some
Yeah.
overly dramatic like then you have to back explain like everyone's like, well, how did that happen so quickly? Like, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think it ended appropriately. Definitely a lot of emotional moments and it's been a long journey. in that
Yeah.
show. So
I think like so when I say I hate it when that happens, I hate it when the penultimate episode accomplishes everything the finale should, and then the finale is just like, I mean,
eh,
it that one wasn't, it didn't sound like it was just random stuff, but like
right.
so my only example that I have that really makes me hate that is also it's kind of a different situation because it's not like a series finale. It was a season finale and there was a next season afterwards.
Yeah.
But DC's Titans show on HBO,
Yeah.
the the season 1 finale or penultimate episode was like awesome. It was, the Titans had their clash with the villain of the season and it was crazy epic. They, squeaked it out, defeated him or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." And then the next episode was just like literally the start of season 2, but it was the season 1 finale. And I was like, "Guys, what are you doing?" Like this was so bad.
Well, the
Um,
first problem you have there is you said DC.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
A DC show that wasn't animated, so obviously it's going to be
Yee.
garbage.
Yikes.
But yeah, like I don't know, I just feel it, I just yeah, feel like you got to find a way to tie up the loose ends, but also like have that super big impact in the
Yeah.
finale, right?
Yeah.
But hey,
But as a series finale
as a
worked
fin,
off.
yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, you just had to have all those like final conversations with a lot of different characters,
Hmm.
and one of my favorite things that they did, especially in the last like season or two, is obviously like at the beginning of such a thing because you have the breakaway government that is like nearly Old Testament like but like to a nth degree of just nah, that ain't it, right? So, naturally the downtrodden characters that are our heroes in that show are fairly like anti-religious because of how oppressive religion is in that show, and
Hmm.
what it's done to the world. But toward the end, I did like though that basically all the characters were turning to faith, like on both sides, right?
Nice,
Because like the bad guys were acknowledging the problem with their faith,
nice.
right? And then the good guys were understanding how like a lot of this like you like that's the only way like through it, right? And
Mm.
like even the handmaids like it was like they were like drilled with like all these practices that were very faith driven under this regime, but like
Hmm.
it still says a substantial part of their life that they like practice, like they still say some of the things like under his eye and like all those different phrases, and they shifted from like saying it in a mocking sense, right, like like an inside joke, to like they're kind of seriously saying it because it's such a part of them and they've kind of turned to faith, and it's that was one of my more favorite parts about how they shifted the narrative there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I need to give that show a
There's a
watch.
big lesson on forgiveness in the final episode too, that
Nice.
some would say be like, well, that they didn't deserve that level of forgiveness, but the other end of it is, you know what, maybe they did.
Yeah. Also, just life take here. Forgiveness is the key to your own prison, bro.
Yep.
Because,
I think that was basically what the main character arrives at.
yeah, like the only one at the end of the day who's going to hold on to the bitterness is you. The other person has like probably moved on, pulled a whole Cassian like "Who are you?" to Cyril moment, right?
Who are you?
Meanwhile, you're just like killing yourself with this toxic bitterness of unforgiveness,
Oh, dude,
bro. You just unlock that door and forgive.
dude.
You just see life improvement right there. But
Diego
anyways,
Diego Diego Luna's portrayal of that moment is just so perfect.
Dude, it literally was like the sickest burn ever.
He's like
Because
he
he's
just
so
gets
like
it.
legitimately confused.
Yeah,
Like,
like
who are you?
all of this is happening, and you are very deliberately trying to murder me.
Yeah, yeah,
And you look like a good guy. Like the bad guys are very clearly outlined here. They're in white armor and or black armor, um,
yeah.
and they look like Nazis. You just look like I don't know why you're trying to kill me, bro. Who
One
are
of
you?
us. One of yeah, dude. I mean, that's like one of
I
my
can see
favorite
his face. It
moments.
was perfect. Like
Yeah. Both of them in that scene absolutely perfect because the way that Diego delivers that line, masterpiece, and then the way Cyril receives that line,
just
masterpiece.
breaks him.
Oh man, yeah. But yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that show. It's one of those ones gotta watch sometime.
Tag the wife in, man.
I don't know if she
I,
could. Excuse me.
girls like it, even though it's like the most triggering thing for them to probably watch. But like, it's good. It's good.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, looking at my list here, I'll just rattle off some movies that I watched
Boo.
that were middle of the road. Um, The Amateur, saw that in theaters. Rami Malek
Oh yeah, that's
basically
right.
plays like the CIA version of Mr. Robot.
So is this a
Um,
continuation of Elliot's
it
life? Like, did it move
it could
on?
almost be a For All Mankind into the Expanse type, like
Okay.
Mr. Robot into the Amateur, but like
What if it's a different
Elliot,
personality of him?
it could be, he's off the uh morphine and
Yeah,
Adderall and stuff. He's cleaned it up and now he's working for the government. Big
right.
plot twist.
Yeah.
Uh but then but then some like terrorist group in London murders his wife, so he like goes John Wick on them. But like
That's
literally
cool.
his character is like he's some like computer engineer, like
Yeah. That's good.
decrypting like these secret files for the CIA, and then yeah, it turns into John Wick. it
I mean,
was it was entertaining
you've seen him speak like in interviews, right?
a few times, yes.
I feel like nothing about like him in real life is at all any of that. Like, does he have one of those moments where he's like, I don't know how I got into this. Like, I just play this role now. Like, I just
Yeah,
do it
he's
so well.
totally typecast.
Yeah, he's been typecast. But like, I just don't get that vibe from him. Like, he seems
Yeah,
just
no.
like he really seems more like a theater boy.
Yeah.
Like he would rather like he'd tell you everything about Broadway and like acting and stuff like that. But like somehow he's been typecast into like
Yeah, well,
an
he does it
actor.
pretty well.
Yeah, engineer.
Um, that was, middle of the road. Amazon Prime's Roadhouse, just a remake of like oh shoot, I don't even remember.
The
I'm
original
doing
Roadhouse?
so yeah, the original Roadhouse. I want to say it's in the 80s,
Yeah, that
but
sounds
I've
right.
been getting my movie and show dates like very, very wrong. So I don't want to say that with too much confidence.
1989. You just barely made it there, buddy.
Squeezed in. But yeah, our favorite Jake Gyllenhaal in it. He was pretty
What?
good. They kind of updated the story. Jake Gyllenhaal's character was a former UFC fighter that turns into this bouncer at the Roadhouse. Conor McGregor in that movie is, oh my gosh, dude, literally the worst actor I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Oh, is this where that stemmed from you? I saw you talking in Discord about this.
yeah, yeah. Like the movie it was definitely a popcorn like entertaining if you like fights. Like it was
Yeah.
choreographed really well and shot really well, and Jake Gyllenhaal was great, but Conor McGregor was so bad, like so bad that I almost stopped watching it. It was that bad.
Yeah, that's crazy to have Jake Gyllenhaal opposite of like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, dude.
Poor Jake. And like
Yeah,
Jake like has played better roles as a fighter than Conor McGregor. her ass.
Yeah, well, that part was cool because, like,
Yeah,
Connor is a UFC fighter, so, like, the
right.
fight scenes were very believable,
Is
but,
he
like,
fighting Jake?
yeah,
That's
they're
awesome.
like,
So you have like a
enemies that
southpaw versus Conor McGregor, and
yeah. Yeah, dude, but anytime Conor McGregor opened his mouth, I wanted to, like, cut my ears off and stab my eyes out, like, it was
does he
terrible.
just sound like Conor McGregor, like just yelling
It sounds like Conor McGregor pretending to be Conor McGregor, which is, like, so
with an
bad.
American accent?
No, he's definitely got his like, I probably a caricature of himself, like, even accent-wise, like, yeah, it's just bad.
Play
Um,
yourself, but badly.
yeah. I watched Transformers: Rise of the Beasts on Prime. There's some
Ooh,
good movies on Prime. I have quite a
yeah,
few. That was a cool movie. I used to watch the Beast Wars, like, cartoon before school, like, back in the day.
yeah.
I remember really wanting to see this in theaters when it came out, but I just never got around to it, and, finally watched it. It was pretty cool.
I think I'm behind 2 Transformers and, probably 2 Mission Impossibles and 2, Jurassic Worlds.
Mm.
So,
I
because
honestly
those all have new
yeah.
releases in the past, like, year or so or coming
Mhm.
up, and I haven't seen the one that preceded all of those.
I don't remember what's before Rise of the Beasts, but I do
I
know
think
that
it's Age of Extinction.
there are
No,
quite a
sorry, that's
few.
yeah, no, Age of Extinction, I
That
think.
sounds right, but
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched Transformers since
No.
Shia LaBeouf, like, it's been a long time.
You didn't see Mark Wahlberg?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd have to look, but I'm confident that I haven't watched one for quite some time. But this
Yeah,
was fun. It's always cool to see the Beast
yeah.
Optimal Prime or whatever. Um, let's see, Warfare. Not going to talk about it because I know whenever Chad's on, he's going to want to talk about it, and we touched on it. I
Yeah.
think maybe in the Patreon episode.
Yep.
If not, we talked about it before the Patreon episode, so we'll talk about that another time. That was awesome. I love that movie. Saw that in theaters. Is great. Highly recommend.
That should be coming
Um,
out on streaming soon. I feel like A24 has dropped quickly onto streaming.
I would I would assume so because that it's yeah it came out a couple months ago I think.
Hmm.
Um, Mickey 17.
I keep seeing that on when I pop open HBO.
I was disappointed. I thought this was going to be totally different than what it turned out to be, and like the premise of it is really cool. I think they just like leaned way too hard into like wanting to make, speaking of caricatures of Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and the MAGA people. They just like went way too hard into that, and I feel like
In
it
Mickey 17?
yeah, and I feel like it kind of took away from the actual premise of the movie, which is a really cool premise. Like, you can sign up to be basically immortal, like, as a tester of many dangerous things. But yeah, I will say though, I saw this in theater, and I don't think Cinemark does this. I think this is just like a Regal thing because there's no Cinemarks, unfortunately, around, like, within driving distance of me. I think the closest one's like 2 hours away, which definitely not gonna do that. Though
Yeah.
the way Regal theaters are, I am considering it. um, but Regal has a thing called Screen X, which you have like the whole normal screen, like, on the front wall, right?
Yeah.
But then the screen doesn't extend, but the projection extends onto the side walls, like, I don't know, maybe like a third of the way up the theaters. like sidewalls.
Mhm.
And what's projected on the sidewalls most of the time is kind of blurry, but the goal is to like give you that almost like VR feeling of like being in the scenes you're
Interesting.
watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes the sometimes the sidewalls, the actual scene expands like pretty widely on the sidewalls and is more clear than just being kind of like blurry peripheral stuff. Sorry, the hiccups. Um, but I thought it was pretty cool because I think I sat like maybe 2 or 3 rows like too far back to get like the actual full effect of the Screen X. But I kind of want to watch another movie on Screen
Yeah.
X again because it was a very interesting idea that I
Right.
had never really heard of before. But I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, just immerse you a little bit. Because I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of a buzzkill when you can see the edge of the screen. That's why it's like you gotta get close enough, but like
Yeah.
not too close.
Yeah. And
Center.
dude, there's some goofy stuff like wall decorations on the theaters down here. Like I gotta take some pictures sometime, post them in Discord. But they're like, dude, this theater was I feel like it was built in the late 80s and then never touched.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like it's there's some goofy stuff. But yeah, so disappointed in Mickey 17,
Mm.
but oddly surprised in Screen X experience. So I'll try to watch another one. Watched a movie in theater called The Last Breath with Woody Harrelson and obviously other people, but this is the retelling of a true story of some offshore like pipeline workers.
Hmm.
Um
Scuba diving, digging pipe.
yeah, like repairing pipes down there in the North Sea, I think. But basically they do a dive, a storm comes, they kind of get detached from the boat, and one of the guys is like stuck on the pipeline platform,
Yeah.
and he runs out of oxygen and is stuck at the bottom of the North Sea while the ship is trying to like fix its autopilot thing during the storm to get back to where they are to retrieve him. He's down there out of oxygen for I think 30 minutes and somehow survives with like no brain damage or anything. They end up rescuing him and all that stuff. But yeah, it was I'd say average movie, but like if you can find it on a streaming platform for free,
Yeah.
like it's entertaining, like suspenseful.
Sounds stressful.
Yeah. Um yeah, it's like my worst fear. Like literally my worst fear. I hate like the thought of being out in the middle of the ocean and just like drowning. Or my other irrational greatest fear is like um there's and it sucks because there's a lot of bridges where I live, but like me driving on a bridge and for either the bridge breaking, a Baltimore bridge incident, or like my car just like driving off the bridge and then just yeah, just me, just and my
Yeah.
family, just
Yeah.
the minivan just slowly sinking down.
So Godzilla isn't a good time for you either.
No, no, yeah. And also I live about 2 hours south of Tampa. Okay, there's a bridge called the Skyway, and it is a very long bridge that connects. Um, I think it's like St. Pete to Tampa, and it'll shave off like an hour drive time if you go across this bridge over like the literal Tampa Bay, the Bay of Tampa, instead of like going around it if you're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
north of Tampa. This bridge, I think it was in the 80s, um, collapsed and because a boat ran into it, of course.
Oh, naturally.
Um,
Happens more
and
often than you think.
like a bunch of people died. And I'm terrified of bridges and all this already. But
You're like
my
driving with your head out the window, like checking all the
yeah,
boats down below.
yeah,
Stay in your
yeah.
lane.
So my aunt and uncle live in Newport Richey, which is like 3.5 hours north of me. If I don't take the Skyway, and I like that's where I grew up as a kid in Newport Richey. They actually live like 2 minutes from the neighborhood that I grew up in with my grandma. And like, I mean, I didn't live with my grandma, but we lived in the same neighborhood. So we go up there and hang out with them quite a bit because they're like the only family we have down here in Florida. And we were coming home, and I was like, whatever. I don't feel like it's like 7 o'clock. I have three tired kids. I don't want to drive 3.5 hours. We're just gonna go across the Skyway. I'm gonna suck it up. And it's the first time I've ever been across it. And so we go, we're driving, and what makes it even more terrifying, first off, it's like very tall now because they're like,
Yeah,
dude, we're gonna build this bridge so like a monster truck sized boat like could drive under it and not even touch
could
anything.
Godzilla walk under it?
Yeah, like it is so tall. It is so tall. But right next to it is the ghost of the former Skyway Bridge that collapsed. They just turned it into a fishing pier. So like you're driving over the Skyway and you look down and it's just like the broken
V1.
bridge. Like this is what could happen, by the way.
Yeah,
Just want you to
just a
remember that.
reminder. It keeps
Yeah.
traffic down on it. They got to deter
No,
some
no,
of
it
it.
doesn't. No.
Oh,
No, traffic down here is insane. But yeah, so Last Breath, watched it on a streaming platform. Saw Captain America Brave New World. That was turds. Don't watch it.
ew,
It's bad.
not good.
And then the creator, this was also on Prime. I don't know if it's still on Prime, but this is like man, how do I explain this movie? Basically conflict between humans and AI.
Oh yes, I started this.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. I thought it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I need to finish it, I guess. But yeah, it started off definitely cool.
And like visually is very, very cool.
Yeah, visually it's very, very crisp. And like even when they're like I got to the point where they're like literally in the village and they're on that bridge
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
like that whole thing, like that's just cool. And like those tanks are like rolling through. I'm like, dude, this is just visually like complicated. Like we're both like firefighting with like rebels and stuff, but then we also have like the big
Yeah.
vehicles and yeah, it's wild.
No, it's very visually pleasing. But like the premise, if I'm remembering right, essentially like
AI gets
humans were using AI, and then like AI accidentally set off a nuclear bomb or something like that.
yeah,
Maybe not a nuke, but they like bombed something.
yeah, important.
And the humans were like, obviously,
America
that's
was like,
not
yeah,
that's not good.
yeah.
And then AI kind of gained sentience, and they kind of were outcast by the humans, and now they're like yeah, in the slums and like
They're all in
basically
Southeast Asia because they accept them
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah,
and
it
it's just
became like
America
a
hunting them with their
yeah,
giant like
yeah,
Earth
exactly,
drone.
exactly.
It's wild.
um but there's like one AI child thing that holds the key to something, and so Denzel Washington's son is trying to find this.
Oh,
It's a cool movie. I recommend it, especially if it's still free. Lastly,
jeez.
well, I guess not lastly. I started Gran Turismo 2 nights ago on Netflix.
I'm getting close on that one.
Well, you only got like what day is today? The 5th. You only got
Oh
5 days.
no,
It leaves Netflix on the 10th.
no.
When I started it, it's like this is based on a true story, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like this game existed? Yes, I know that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But no,
It
like
has
the
Orlando
whole
Bloom, right?
it does,
I started it.
and David Harbour from Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
yeah, yeah. I started
Um,
this.
but yeah, okay, so you know the premise.
Yeah.
They basically Gran Turismo. Well, first off, obviously any movie about a game is an ad for the game, but like this is like the first 5 minutes are literally just a straight up commercial for Gran Turismo. They're basically like, this is the creator of Gran Turismo. He worked his whole life to
Yeah.
create the most realistic racing sim of all time, and basically, like for 5 minutes, is like, this is why you should play Gran Turismo. Which, by the way, it is a great game. Like the whole reason I wanted to watch this because I played a lot of Gran Turismo like 2 back in the day. It is a really good game. But so they're like based on a true story, and then the premise is Gran Turismo and Nissan, which by the way, Orlando Bloom calls it Nissan the entire movie. Nissan, which is probably how it's pronounced, but whatever. I'm American. Nissan, that's what it is. Deal with it. Um, they're like, we're gonna hold a competition of where the greatest Gran Turismo video game players can race to win a chance to enter the Gran Turismo Academy and become actual race car drivers.
Tight.
And I'm like, this is very obviously a video game movie plot. Plot twist, that actually was a real thing. And the main character of this movie is it's like a Gran Turismo movie biography for this actual race car driver.
Yeah.
Jan is a real person and actually became a race car driver by winning the the Gran Turismo
That's
race to be a
crazy.
part of the Gran Turismo Academy, and then ended up winning or like graduating that
Yeah.
academy and becoming an actual like race car driver and won stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy cow, that's actually insane. I thought that was I 100% thought this was totally just a video game movie plot. Um, it's been pretty cool. I'm like 2/3 of the way through it. I'll probably finish it tomorrow because it's getting late.
Yeah. Video games didn't used to all be Roblox, like they used to have like purpose and meaning
Yeah.
and connect to real life in some way.
Yeah. But I mean, hey man, if you're like one of the hardcore race sim players and you got like the cockpit essentially,
Yeah.
the racing chair, the wheel and all that stuff, I could see how you could use this as like kind of like how flight simulator can be used
At
for
least mentally
flight
trains you.
training.
Doesn't really
Yeah.
physically train you, but it mentally trains you.
Yeah, for sure. Um but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'll finish it. The last thing I have, do you have anything else?
You've had like 3 last things.
I know, but this is literally the last thing.
Yeah, I have one more thing.
All right, you go. I've been talking too long.
Um, and I already told you about this, but, the Andrew Schultz,
Oh,
Netflix
yeah.
special, Life on Netflix, really good, really good. Definitely, like, one of the better, like, stand-ups. I don't know, he is, like he's funny. He's funny.
Yeah.
I can get how he quickly turns some people off, because he likes to take it just far enough there, but, like, he's just kidding, man. Like, don't take it seriously. Like, he is good at, like, pulling off the, like, "I'm literally just joking," but it's funny. But,
Yeah.
like,
But you also
um
know it's true.
but he also knows it's true. And then, like, but the whole time he's just like he's just playing with his mustache, like, off the
Oh,
one
yeah.
side, and, like, that's his, like, little thing. But he just carries a great cadence in terms of how he, does the special, and, naturally, of course, it's just, like, hyper raunchy and, but the way he tells, like, it all kinda has a theme, and he does something that, isn't done too often, like, in a stand-up special, because he ties it back to, like, what's actually has happened in his real life,
Mm.
and it's super cool, and then, like, there's, like, a super, like, serious, like, somber moment. He, like, really, like, level sets it all, and then he, like, nails it with, like, 2 more, like, really awesome, like, jokes that, like, build on it. But yeah, it's a great special, right? I think I was impressed that it feels like one continuous setup, and
Mm.
that was the fun part, and then wraps it all up. Um, Really good though, but he takes it some places really far on some stuff. It's funny. It's a good one though.
Nice. Yeah, he's been definitely popping up in all across the culture, not even just like pop culture and
Yeah,
like the comedian sphere, but like yeah, just kind of all over the place. I think he's an interesting. person when listening to him on like his podcast or his appearances on podcasts. Like he is hysterical, but like he also has like a critical thinking side, right?
Yeah.
And does make a lot of good points. Recently had like a 3-hour mega episode with the one and only Wesley Huff, which was
Yeah.
pretty good. Um, yeah, I should watch that because I do think he's super funny.
And I assume he's from somewhere in New York because like he very regularly picks on like Staten Island and like those folk there. And I think that also just helps because like he just seems authentically from somewhere,
Mhm.
and I think that's just largely missing these days because everybody wants to be from nowhere. They just want to like meld into like the you know blob that is the internet culture, right? So it's nice to like have that sense of identity, and like he definitely
Yeah.
owns it and behaves like you would expect him to. I assume he's somewhere adjacent to Staten Island. See, he loves ripping on those people.
Nice.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. Um, yeah, and the whole underlying crux of it is like the journey of him and his wife trying to have a baby. So like
Yeah.
they go through like all the stages, like all the way to IVF and stuff. So like
Oh wow.
there's a lot of loaded stories that he I assume has embellished a little bit, but I don't know. Like he tells them very convincingly.
Yeah, I do remember seeing, I think it was Matt Damon, like on one of the promos for it, like they're in a restaurant or whatever, and it was being pretty funny. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
um, I think it was Matt Damon. Maybe it's Ben Affleck. I don't remember. It was one of them. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering. I'll have to check it out. Um, you ready for my last one? Then we'll be done.
Yep.
Sicario.
Nice.
It's so good.
That was a
So,
rewatch. I rewatched that too.
did you
Yeah.
like because I was telling you that I watched it,
I
or
don't
was it
remember.
before?
I felt like it was before.
Oh dang, that's just a crazy happy coincidence.
Unless you were talking about it. No, I really feel like I organically had the urge to watch that movie. I
Dang,
think
that's
because I
crazy.
saw I think because I saw well, partly I mean they cycle all that stuff to the top of our Netflixes anyways when they know what we like.
Oh yeah, dude. That's the whole reason I watched it because I was like, it's been on my list for like 3 years. And I'm just tired of seeing it there. Like, I'm just gonna
unless
watch it.
unless you did you ask me about it ahead of time?
No, I think I was just like, hey, I'm finally watching this movie because I know that you've talked
Yeah.
highly of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
just randomly rewatched that because I think it was leaving Netflix or something. I own it though,
oh yeah,
just I have to. Yeah,
dude.
and I might have seen
Oh,
Del Toro somewhere,
mm,
Benicio, because I might have watched
oh,
something with him. Because every time I see him, I'm like, everyone wants Cesario because
dude.
it's so awesome,
It's so good. And Benny, he's crazy, dude.
dude.
He- um, yeah, holy cow! Like I figured it was gonna be good, right? Because I mean, you've talked highly of it. It's a Denny movie, right?
You know,
Um,
that was the origin of it because I've been on such a Dune kick, like
oh,
for the
that
past like
makes
6
sense.
months. I've been
Yeah.
like, and then I think I saw that, and then I saw that like, um, um, wow, Vinny, what's his name? The
Um,
director.
yeah, and Villanueva or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. When I saw him, then I was like, oh well, I definitely have to rewatch
Yeah.
Cesario now that I know it was him that like directed it. And now I'm like, that makes sense why
Yeah,
that movie
you
is
got
so good.
yeah, you got Brolin in it too.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
in both movies. But yeah, holy cow! Like it's so intense, like from start to finish. And it just, man, does a great job of. I mean, not that I know because I don't work in any of that field at all. But like, what I would imagine would be the chaos of doing any of that. Like, it just like it like
It opens with the bodies.
yeah, but like your main character Emily Blunt and her partner. which I kind of wish was involved a little more because I love that guy.
Yeah.
Um, but like it really makes you feel like you're in her shoes because she is just thrown into this and is like vastly unprepared for what
Yeah.
she's getting into. And I feel like from the viewer's perspective, the way it's shot and the way
Yeah.
like they create that tension in like literally every scene, like that had to be what it would feel like if you're just thrown into this situation with like a bunch of obviously longtime veterans in this like whole
Psychopath world.
sphere of yeah. Man, it's so good.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like she is definitely like she's us, like watching the movie, like in it. And it's just like every step of the way, it's just like this is insane, right? And
Yeah.
then the FBI agents are like we were throwing up because of what they just like found in that house.
Yeah,
Um
and
oh
then,
and then
like, they
then
go to open the, like, trap door in the shed, and it just explodes, and everyone's
yeah,
just like, "Oh my gosh."
the
But
highway thing
oh,
when they get
yeah,
dude,
the border, like, so intense. Um,
just sitting there like stuck in that traffic and the car
yeah,
like they're all around them and like they just pull the straps and like all the guns are just pointing everywhere in this in the car and she's
yeah,
like what and he's and like Benny's just got like his rifle like over her shoulder like right by her ear. Be like he's ready to roll.
yeah, he's like, "Can you roll your window down? Thank you."
Yeah, just cracking a little
Um,
bit.
yeah, and, the the scene where where Benny's just, like, digging like, giving John Bernthal, like, the most painful wet willy ever in the back of the car when they're, like, interrogating him. He's basically, like, knuckle deep into this guy's ear hole.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot he's
Oh
in
gosh, dude. Oh, yeah, dude, it's so good. But now the sequel is now just in every place I look on Netflix, so
yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch that one, but you said it's different, which makes me a little sad.
Yeah, it's still like good, but the problem is it doesn't have Vanilli's like style
Mhm.
and like energy. Like that's the problem. It'd be like watching Dune 3 not by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like imagine if the next Dune wasn't directed by him.
right.
Like it has to be like in comparison dog crap.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna watch it, but
It
man,
it
holy
it
cow.
it still had like the same writer, I think.
Okay,
Like
well,
how
that's
it
good.
had a similar ensemble
And,
of
like, the same
creativity.
like, Brolin's in it, Del
Yeah.
Toro's in it, so,
Correct. Right. So,
um
but really, but so you're just missing Bernoulli's like flair.
right,
That's
yeah.
all. But
Dude,
director is kind of an important job to it.
the way Benny, like, ends that movie just, like, killing that dude's whole family, like, while they're eating dinner, I was like, "Oh, no." Oh my gosh. Yeah, insane movie. It's so good.
Yeah, Brolin could have got
Highly recommend.
he could have got a Luthen like monologue there where he's like, "What have I sacrificed?
Yeah, exactly.
The tools of my
Protect.
enemy."
Yeah, so good. And Benicio del Toro is in a new shoot. Why can't I think of who does it? But a new. Wow, it's really gonna bug me. Soon we're done recording. I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, it's this guy's movie. But the Phoenician Scheme,
Yes.
dude, looks super cool. I
Hell, it
really
could
want
have
to
been
watch
the
that
ad
movie.
for that made me want to watch Cesario. Because like I said, I saw
Yeah.
Benicio somewhere.
Speaking of like ensemble cast, like
Yeah.
that's got everyone. Bryan Cranston, Michael Cera, Benicio del Toro, Scarlett Johansson, yes.
Yeah.
There's so many people in that movie, and it looks just so like off the wall. I want to watch it so bad.
It reminds me it just gives me a vibe like Burn After Reading. I don't know if you ever seen that.
No,
But
but
that's
you
got
wanna?
like a stacked ensemble cast and it is different.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, I gotta look up who made this movie because it's gonna drive me nuts. Because all of his movies are like this stylized like super abstract.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson. How could I not remember that? Wes Anderson, of course. But yeah, Bill Murray, Tom Hanks, Michael Cera, Benedict Cucumberbatch, William Dafoe. Yeah,
Batch.
so many people. But yeah, that's what we've been watching in the last 8 months. Go if you haven't, go watch the Arcane season. Go watch Severance. Go watch our House of David coverage. Go watch our Andor coverage. If you want some real deep dives into stuff we watched for the podcast. And next week we should have the entire crew, Chad and Dad, and we'll be talking about what we've been playing over the last 8 months. Which should be a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll probably talk a little bit about Warfare. Anything you need to say before we jump off?
Don't think so. Just
Right,
keep
well,
watching stuff. There's a lot
yeah,
of crap to watch. Hopefully, they stop making stuff for a few years so we can catch up.
yeah. But yeah, our summer of episodes here are kind of going to be going back to some of our more abstract style episodes on the podcast. Usually the summertime we get a lot of the gaming showcases and conventions, so I'm sure we'll be covering that stuff. And we just haven't been talking about much gaming stuff in general because we've been covering so many shows. So the Showboy Summer of Gaming is about to commence next week. So yeah, make sure you follow us here on YouTube and everywhere else. Leave a comment, let us know what you've been watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye. There he is. Look at those luscious locks.